Breaking news, the Berlin Wall is getting taken down right now. The Berlin Wall has been up for over 30 years now. It's been separating East and West Germany. Families have been separated. And Gorbachev is the prime mayor. And Ronald Reagan is our president in the US right now, and he's telling him to take down the wall. Okay, today in the 80s we're going to talk about our social problems. So one of our big problems is the drugs. So I'm just going to bring a few of those out. So right here we have this new drug called crack. I just spilt it. And so just got to, all you need is a spoon and a lighter. It's very cheap. That's why everybody's getting addicted to it. You just sort of, for a little bit. And a lot of people in the worst areas of town have been doing this because how cheap it is, and they've been dying from it because it's super addictive and very bad for you. Yeah. To you, Jake Miller?
Critics have been calling the Reagan economic policy voodoo economics. Yet it is turning out to be the most successful economic experiment in history. Reaganomics, or trickle-down economics, is the simple four-part plan that is making critics rethink their objections. The plan calls for a tax cut to keep more money in the hands of the taxpayers for investment in personal spending, restricting the money supplied to stabilize the value of the American dollar, a significant cut in government spending on entitlement programs, and a major reduction in crippling government regulations on American businesses. The results of the plan so far have shown a genuine economic growth of approximately 6.8%, the highest rate of growth in over 50 years. 20 million new jobs have been generated thus far, reducing the unemployment rate to 5.3%. When President Reagan took office, inflation was hovering around the 12% mark because of this guy. Now the rate of inflation is about at the 3% mark. The average American has seen an increase of 18% in their disposable income, and the nation's poverty level is significantly decreased. The stock market value has tripled since 1981. Because the spineless weenies, the honorable members of the Congress, have refused to implement the plan's necessary call for a reduction in entitlement spending, resulting in the deficit rising from $900 billion to $2.8 trillion. It is difficult to imagine how much more the economy will improve if all the steps of the plan are fully implemented. Hopefully, the future leaders will learn from the stupidity of the economic policies of this guy and follow the direction that we are now traveling. This reporter thinks it is highly unlikely they will. We will be taking a quick break. When we come back, Maria will be joining us on location with hip fashion and music.
We found Annie abandoned in the trash can, and she needs help.
If you donate only a small amount of $200 a month, we will send you a picture of Annie and a stuffed animal. You can help save her life.
Please help.
That's it, dude.
Welcome back, you guys. I just overheard new movies are coming out, like Indiana Jones, Back to the Future, and Scarface. I myself have recently watched Ghostbusters, and now I think I have ghosts living in my house. But now recently, movies have music in them, and they are amazing. What can be better than Jude Nelson thrusting his fist into the air to simply Minds Don't Forget About You, or Don't Forget About Me, Sylvester Stallone throwing punches to Eye of the Tiger, Kevin Bacon dancing on the floor to Footloose by Kevin Logging, or John Cusack holding a boombox above his head and says nothing, anything. These movies with amazing music put together are a phenomenon. Alright, now we're going to talk about the latest fashion, the leg warmers. The leg warmers are amazing. You can work out with them in jeans and anything. You gotta stretch. Other leg, down the middle. Little runner's pose. Other leg. Your leg warmers, people. And now here's Matt with the fluorescent hat that everyone's in trend with. Pose, Matthew. Turn. Show the world about your beautiful hat. And now we go to Jake to talk about President Ronald Reagan and the Iran-Contra affairs.
And now for foreign policy news. The Iran-Contra hearings have come to an end. For those who have been living under a rock for the past few months, the Reagan administration has been under investigation into the operations designed to bring an end to the Iranian hostage crisis and to support the Contras in Nicaragua in their fight against the Marxist Sandinistas. Because of this guy, 52 Americans were held by the Iranians for 444 days. The successful release of the hostages was brought about when the U.S. agreed to secretly sell weapons to the Iranians in exchange for the hostages. The proceeds from the sale of the weapons were then used to support the Contras in Nicaragua. The Sandinistas, however, a communist militia once supported by this guy, have been working to overthrow the Nicaraguan government, while the pro-American Contras have been fighting to protect it. Congress correctly felt that they should have been consulted and ultimately voted to sell arms to foreign countries, as well as distribute funds to foreign entities. Like all government scandals, someone has to take the fall. The Iran-Contra hearings have chosen this guy, Oliver North, a highly decorated Vietnam War veteran, to be the guilty party. Now to Gaston about civil rights and an update on the Challenger tragedy.
Okay, well, in the 1980s there was a lot of equal rights struggling. For example, like women, like women's rights and whatnot. You know, I like fun stuff. They were still struggling to get equal pay and better work conditions. And also, they really started stepping up in society, as the number of women in government jobs tripled, and government jobs are also offering to pay the same wages despite sex or race. They also pushed for family benefits because most women that were in the workforce were single moms that had to provide not just for themselves but also for their children, their family. Also, this is really a time where it is kind of a turning point to today's modern thinking, because the racism really started taking a turn and started being less and less violent and less, less and less just common, and also a good turn politically would be when Jesse Jackson ran for president in the 1980 something election. He changed how people thought and people really began to modernize after this. They started thinking different, like I said. And also, that's pretty much it. Women stepping up and whatnot, and racism cooling down just a little bit. Okay, and the other topic I'll be talking about today is the Challenger space shuttle. January 26, 1986, at approximately 11:39 a.m. in Cape Canaveral, Florida, United States. As 7 brave Americans risked their lives as their space shuttle broke apart 73 seconds into their journey. The disaster has been marked in human history as the worst space disaster in human history. This horrific and tragic event caused many tears and heartaches worldwide. But these 7 brave Americans will always be remembered for their bravery and determination as they risked their lives for the future of science and exploration. Afterwards, Reagan dedicated speeches to these heroes, touching countless hearts and unifying the nation like never before. And the nation really grew from it, and the NASA space program really just began to grow exponentially afterwards, and more people began to get involved in this great organization.
Hey, you want some crack?
No!
Hey, you want some crack?
Yeah.
Just saying no.
Not today.
Hey, you want some crack?
Just say no!
No!
And so I'm just gonna demonstrate. Just sort of get some of it and just do it like that. And then oh, you guys gotta try this.
I got it.
Okay, so
Back to you.
now we're gonna talk about AIDS. And so AIDS was a huge problem in the 80s. Doctors wouldn't treat it. Because, back to my partner, Jake Miller here. Jake, how are you doing? Good. Okay, back to you, Maria.
Jake Miller.
Maria Soto.
Matt.